Welcome back. The Financial Services Tribunal has ruled that being married to a pension fund member does not guarantee the surviving spouse death benefits. This follows a case brought by a married woman who wanted to claim benefits from her late husband after they separated for several years. Edward Banda, who's a wealth manager at Capital Wealth Council, joins us now for more on this. Thank you so much for your time, Mr. Banda, and for joining us this evening. This is quite an interesting case, and I'm certainly hoping that you'll be able to unpack it for us in the best way possible. I mean, this couple was married, they were separated. At the time of the husband's death, he had been living with somebody else for 15 years. Then his pension fund gets just distributed, that 65% goes to the lady that he was living with, and the balance then goes to his children. What are the general misconceptions that we have with regards to marriage and death benefits thereafter?
Good evening, Kashaf and your viewers. Thank you for having me. Yeah, so I think to start with, besides the misconception, I think it's a question of actually pension funds educating its members that the distribution of a member that belongs to a pension fund, a provident fund, a retirement annuity, or pension and preservation fund, distribution of such benefits are governed by Section 37C of the Pension Fund Act of 1956. So this was enacted in Parliament, and unfortunately, this particular section of the Pension Fund Act limits the testamentary freedom of a member. So just to answer your question with regards to limitations, I mean, you can wish to leave your benefits in the pension fund to a specific individual, but that does not automatically becomes the case. So in a way, the misconception would be that people need to understand that only beneficiaries of the deceased member will be entitled to that particular benefit, as was the case in this case law that you just referred to in your introduction.
Right. So maybe, I mean, you speak of that awareness and education that pension funds should be giving to their members. Perhaps just on a very high level, just give us the distinctions of death benefits for life insurances, pension funds, as well as retirement annuities. Where do they differ? Or is it, as you say, only upon what you then, as the person who is at the helm, would be putting down as who your benefactors are?
Yeah, so I think that's a good example. So life insurance, the owner of the insurance policy or the insured life has the opportunity to nominate who that benefit gets paid to in the event of their death, similar to other investment products besides the unit trust type of investment. But if you invested in a retirement annuity, when you do complete that application, or if you join a pension fund through your employer or a provident fund, there is an opportunity for you to actually nominate beneficiaries. But that nomination does not ultimately become the fact when you pass away. It's essentially just a guideline for the trustees to see whom you wish to leave the benefits to. However, there is a process that the trustees of the pension fund, provident, or retirement annuities do follow, where as soon as they're notified of the member's death, they have it's called a 12-month rule, where they've got 12 months to try and locate and investigate, or rather trace, dependents of the deceased member. So in this example, I mean, the gentleman that passed away was living with a different woman whilst married to another woman. And in this particular case, I think it went through an appeal or arbitration.
Yes.
It was discovered that the deceased actually had two children who were still in school with the, I'm not sure if it was a girlfriend or the other woman that he was not legally married to. And in that regard, because his legally married wife is financially sound, she works and she has her own income, the trustees decided to pay all the funds to the girlfriend and the two kids, because they needed, or well, it was found that they needed that financial support more than the legally married woman. Hence, the benefit did not pay to her. So even if he had nominated her as a beneficiary, the fact that she's at an advantage compared to to the 2 minor children that were dependent on the deceased, it was then decided that those funds gets paid to the people that need it the most, essentially. So,
How does separation impact a spouse's entitlement to death benefits? Are there protections in place for individuals who may be affected?
I think the only way one can have access to those funds guaranteed if their relationship has ended, it's to equally divorce prior to to the death of the member, because then at that point, depending on how they too are married, if they're married in community of property, then she will have the right to inherit 50% of the benefit. But if you want to claim that benefit after the member passed away, unfortunately, that discretion is left to the trustees of the pension fund, and equally guided by Section 37C of the Pension Fund Act. And also, just the only time the unnominated beneficiaries could be able to have access to these funds is that after the 12-month period where the trustees need to investigate and trace dependents. Should that period lapse and they cannot locate any dependents, only then will the pension fund, provident or retirement annuity actually pay the benefit amount into the member's estate and distribute it according to his will, or however way he would have wished to leave that benefit. It's the only way. Other than that, if there are other people that are financially dependent on the trustees, whether they are nominees on the members' policy, they do not have a definite right, so to speak, to actually inherit.
So then it simply means that the Financial Services Tribunal's decision was not setting a new precedence with this particular ruling. It was simply where people need to know and understand how different pension funds would be paying out in a situation of this type.
That's correct. And even when you look up online, there's been so many cases where families of the deceased members would actually dispute or take the pension funds to courts, many backdating through the 1999s and all that, so many legal cases, and a majority of them, they always rule in favor of the decision of the trustees of the pension fund. Hence, they have that duty or mandate to actually investigate prior to them making a decision. And that 12-month period, they would have actually, crossed the dots, tick the boxes, and actually realize who the financial dependents are, besides the members' wish when it comes to the nomination.
Right.
But like I said in the beginning, I think it's education about financial products and the workings of these investment products is very key in this day and age, so that when people decide to invest or distribute their wealth, they should be able to be guided in a manner that they know that such type of product would actually overrule their decision to distribute those funds, and rather use alternative means of investing where they've got that testamentary right to appoint whom they want to benefit from such monies.
Most certainly. Edward Banda, thank you so much for your time and for that clarity with regards to this situation. That was Edward Banda, the Wealth Manager at Capital Wealth Council, speaking to us.